see.
What's up? All right, we are back
Uh,
with another episode of Power Hour. I'm here with Taladia.
what's up?
So we all know the News Universe 2 DLC done dropped, and I mean
Yeah,
I've played Hero Pack. I mean I got Gamma 1, Gamma 2. I don't have Beast Gohan, or I haven't played Beast Gohan. I haven't played Orange Piccolo, but I did grind for that transformation though. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah. I mean, I haven't touched Xenoverse 2 in a long time, but I have seen content creators basically have the Hero Pack 1 and 2. So they got Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Orange Piccolo, Piccolo Awakening, and Beast Gohan. And and they did the story DLC, and my God, the story DLC looks amazing.
Wait, so what's on the story DLC? I didn't know. I might have to play that.
So essentially, the story DLC takes place um like you fight against Cell, the original Cell, originally, because he has more power. Remember how he faced off against Teen Kohan
Yeah.
in the Cell games?
Yep.
Right. This time there's a twist. So you fight him, but there's a but. Gohan, adult Gohan, Great Saiyaman, comes from the future to the past to save his younger self, alongside Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 to defeat Cell, the original one,
Hmm.
right? Because the original Cell is taken over, corrupted and whatnot, and so you kind of gotta stop him, right?
All right.
Um, and it's all thanks down to Fu because Fu's meddling with time,
As usual.
as per usual, yes. And then after that is done, uh, you go into the future and you see Gohan from Superhero, the movie superhero version of him, and Piccolo confront Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and they are Gamma 1, Gamma 2 alongside Android 16 and Android 21. And
Oh.
there's a fight between Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Piccolo, and Gohan. Uh, what's it called? Mystic Gohan, so to say, right? Because he goes Mystic. Then after that, um, there's this whole thing with Cell Max being activated, like in the movie, right? So he gets activated and whatnot, and you have to fight him next. Now, in that, spoiler warning, because this is a big spoiler, there is two different endings.
Right.
You want me to tell you what the two endings are?
Do I want to know? Yeah, I want to know. I mean, it was probably going to get spoiled for me eventually.
Okay. So the first ending is you stop Android 16 from self-destructing, and Gamma 2 basically does what he did in the movie, did that special move thing to Cell Max. And in the end, you have Android 21, Android um, and Gamma 1, and Android 16 basically do like a triangle beam cannon type of thing
Right.
against Cell Max to defeat him. That's the first ending. The second ending is where Android 16 self-destructs himself, and Gamma 1, Gamma 2 is not the one that does it. It's and in the end you have pick, Gohan going beast basically. You know, he goes into his beast form because he sees Piccolo getting knocked out, and then Gohan does his usual thing in the movie, and in towards the end, both him and Piccolo do the special beam cannon together
Right.
in order to stop Cell Max, and that is what happens. And then I believe after that they basically say, oh, that he is a hero. In the first ending, Android 16 explains that I don't belong in this timeline and whatnot. So there's that. And then in the second uh ending with the 21 sorry the Gamma 2 situation is that you see him disappear basically. So it's similar end to the movie, but except for just switch it around a little bit. That's the only difference.
Hmm. Well, it seems interesting though. I
Yeah,
haven't touched I haven't touched a new part of the DLC though.
there is there is skill what's it called? You get superhero movie stuff. So you get obviously get this the characters, but alongside that you'll get their skill for your created character.
Hmm.
So yeah,
And I heard that you can get isn't the cell race available now?
yes, I think the Star Race is available. Yes,
Or the biometric androids race or whatever?
I'm not 100% sure. I do know the Cell Race is available. Yeah,
Well, yeah. Cell race or android yeah, something like that. Yeah, that seems like it'll be interesting. I might have to play that. I haven't touched Xenoverse since the Beast transformation was announced.
yeah. I do know though it sold 10 million copies because Dragon Ball's games tweeted out about it that both
Oh, just wait.
fighters,
Just wait until Budokai Tenkaichi 4 come out.
yeah, both fighters and Xenoverse 2 both sold 10 million copies each.
10 million.
Yeah, so it makes me think that they're not gonna stop. They're not gonna stop with Xenoverse 2. There's still gonna be content for that game.
What's up, Najee? Yeah, well, I just know that they better put some good Beast and Orange Piccolo. They should put just good Dragon Ball Super content into Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
We're gonna get super stuff regardless. That is a given.
Oh, speaking of which, what's up, bro?
What's up?
Late as ever.
Sorry if I'm late. I had to take care of something. What's up to all of you?
What's up?
We're talking about the Xenoverse 2 DLC.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, Xenoverse 2 DLC 16, Hero Pack 2, where you got Orange Piccolo, Piccolo Awakening, and Beast Gohan, and there's a storyline for that. We're just explaining the quest. I was just explaining it, the mission that you get with it.
Okay, okay.
Because
What do you guys think of the new DLC so far?
it's a great DLC. I would pick it up if you're a big Gohan fan like myself, pick it up. That's an instant pickup. There's no denying it. If you just want to get the characters and the storyline.
Yes, I told him, I said, I'm going to have to probably play the new DLC story. I haven't played the DLC story, but I do got the Beast transformation for my Saiyan character.
I feel you, but would you say that the cut create your own character beast form is very limited because it does statistically leave you open to stamina blocks and counters even while you're transforming?
Well, I can say one thing, the transformation does drain your ki once you transform, whereas the Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God, the Super Saiyan and the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form does not drain your ki at all once you transform, which I had noticed that.
Hmm.
I mean, it's interesting they decided to do that, but I mean, this is universe. I mean, they always think of ways just to get people just to get the transformations, and then is it worth you going for these transformations?
I agree because I feel like this. Okay, Superhero was a great movie. Let's call it for what it is. Gohan
It
gets his
Yeah,
was.
shot, but at the end of the day, I feel like Xenoverse has run his course in terms of fan consensus because this game has been active since 2017, 2018. I feel like a new active Dragon Ball game would definitely be in the works
That's
yeah.
Budokai
because
Tenkaichi 4.
exactly. So do you
And that
think?
and see that game right there is gonna probably, I would say, mm, e- everybody's speculating that that's gonna be the last game. That's why they're making it Budokai Tenkaichi, because you can't lie. The Tenkaichi series was the best selling Dragon Ball games ever.
You're right. You're right.
And they're like, instead of remaking Xenoverse 3 or coming out with a Fighters 2, they're putting everything into this Budokai Tenkaichi 4. That's why it took so long to come out.
Yeah,
So,
go
but
on.
hey, you can go on,
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was lagging on my end. Excuse me. But I will say this: first of all, first time we've seen this game in years. Do you know that you can't even find, even as a collector, the price for Budokai 3, Tenkaichi 3 has gone way up since 4 was announced like 2 months ago. Like, huh, like, bro, I think you were telling me the other day, like you saw online, it was like 400 USD now for a copy of Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Is that what you were telling me?
Uh, the one thing I can say is that Budokai Tenkaichi 4 will be like it's uh, basically different. Like the graphics will be upgraded, um, and you're gonna get super content for that.
Definitely,
But
definitely. I hate to cut you off, Talia, but all I'm gonna say is that this will hopefully be a great game. I mean, it's modern. You got hype behind it. This could be. I don't
but there's,
see.
but there's too many fighting games coming out this year. That's the problem.
Yeah, I feel like if this game was extended to next year, like the first game of 2024, it would do a lot better.
It would do a lot better, yes. Because yes, it's great that you announced it. Just wait until next year because this year you got Mortal Kombat coming out now,
I agree.
I
I
and
agree.
agree.
that's been Mortal Kombat 12, aka Mortal Kombat 1, is essentially the next game. It's a reboot for the franchise. Um, so there's that. You got Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, um, and you got obviously got Budokai Tenkaichi 4. But
Naruto Connections.
yeah, there's too many fighting games. It's too many jam-packed games. Where exactly are you gonna fit this game into the mold? Like what quarter are you gonna put it in? That's what
Okay,
people gotta understand.
let's. Okay, assuming what Summer Game Fest or a later promotional video game event, they announced it this year. The best they could do for Tenkaichi 4 is go for a holiday release, bare at the earliest. Holiday release. Some of the other games already be out.
But
You
you
have
gotta
the
see, you gotta think, they already confirmed that it's gonna be released in September. So, like, what holiday is in September?
I'm telling you, I feel we're going for like delay factor. If you really want to get as much hype and most profit possible, you got like kids asking for like Christmas and whatever they want for the holidays or whatever they choose to celebrate. I'm just saying, if you would just delay it to holiday season, you would get a lot more from initial profit than you would like Arbor Day or Labor Day, something like that.
Now, but here's the problem, Jahi. In September, October time, Mortal Kombat 12 and 1, sorry, Mortal Kombat 12 stroke 1, the reboot comes out around about that time. according to
Right.
the rumors,
Mm-hmm.
stroke leaks. And if I was Bandai Namco now, delay the game to next year. That's what I would do
Agreed.
because
Agreed.
if you release it this year, it's gonna be overshadowed by the other fighting games,
I agree.
which which is gonna be more popular than Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
The old heads will come back, but you ignore or you risk
The
not
new
gaining the
audience,
mainstream audience, the new
yeah,
mainstream audience.
Right.
the new
If,
people, the new audience, like you gotta try and niche to them. And if you think about it, right, this is like, for example, a DC game, right? I'll give you
right.
a prime example, right? If you got a AAA DC game coming out and you delay it to next year, that gives you a whole year basically to try and get content out, right? Work on the game and to get the game out for 2024.
Yes.
But what
I
Agreed.
agree.
and with as an example, because this is an example, right? Because I don't want to take over your stream or whatnot, but because the fact that in terms of AAA games, you need to have you don't want to squash it with other games coming out. Like if Suicide Squad was supposed to come out this month, if it did come out, it would have been crammed with what's it called? Um, Zelda, Te- Tears of the Kingdom, right? So that's why they had to delay it because the fact is it would be too crammed up with that game and another game coming out. So if I was in Bandai Namco's situation, I would just delay it to next year. Then you don't need to worry if it's going to be competing with other games because there's only one fighting game that I know that's coming out next year, and that's Multiverses.
And Multiverses was in beta and alpha for the past 2 years. I definitely
Yeah,
feel like because Talati makes a great point. He makes a great point. Bandai Namco would have been better off if they had slated this or delayed it for early 2020 for Q1 2024 because you wouldn't have as much competition then. Now later announcements come out, we can get later details at Summer Game Fest. But I feel like what we're going off right now, based off the information we have, making this either late Q4 2023 or early Q1 2024, that would have been a better angle. They're technically trying to do that currently with the September release, based on what we know from the teaser and promo material. But that's a late Q3 release at best, and it's just not going to work out more.
yeah. There's too many big games coming out.
And then
Tekken,
yeah, and Marvel. Marvel got his games coming out too.
yeah, Marvel got their game, but if you think about it from a fighting game perspective, not just single player games. If you got the fighting game experience, it's like it'll be overshadowed and nobody will really care for Budokai Tenkaichi 4, which is a shame because the fact is it's re, it's basically bringing back a beloved franchise and you new graphics and new stuff for it. So that's what I'm saying. It's like if if I was Bandai Namco, I'd delay it as far as possible and just announce that at Summer Game Fest that we're delaying it to next year. That's
That's
what
a
I would do.
I can definitely agree. I would
and
say a new. It needs to be more of like a New Year release, like top of the year type.
well, getting a new year release, that's a common thing because first of all, you're waiting for Q4 numbers to come in, sales numbers. You can't always guarantee a New Year's release because there's too much the risk. You're better off getting a Q4 Christmas holiday than you're getting New Year specifically. Now, early to mid Q1, that's more plausible, which is like January, February. But I will say Taladia was making great points here because you're trying to balance the Main Street audience, fan expectation, and writing off nostalgia. The main reason Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is getting as much hype as it is out of nostalgia for the original Budokai 3 games, as well as, okay, we're getting 4K and 1080p and all this modern stuff we have now. It's basically modern graphics. So you have nostalgia and you have fan expectation right there. And if you screw up either of those things in any capacity, your product will very quickly. I feel like the powers that be, the marketing division, completely jumped the gun, especially with these later projects like Tekken and Mortal Kombat 12 in its new era after Mortal Kombat 11 with Krakoa or whatever that time traveling Titan was. Excuse me. I just feel like a delay to Q1 2024 would work a lot better for them than trying to cram everything in late Q3 2023. It's a fool's errand, marketing wise. It's a fool's errand.
Yeah, it'll be a better marketing move.
And Taladia, oh,
Yeah,
you're back.
yeah, yeah.
So
Go
what'd
on.
you so what'd you think of my response, Taladia?
Um, no, sorry, I was just dealing with something. What was your response?
My response was how you have fan expectation and hype based on how the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is going to be modern compared to the last one 15 years ago,
Yeah,
and trying to appease fan expectation with nostalgia. That's a pretty destructive combo if you don't get it right, which could derail your entire product.
agreed.
So delaying the game to Q1 2024 would be a better marketing move than trying to do late Q3 or even Q4 2023. Delay the game a few months, work out the kinks, work out some bugs. At
Yeah,
the very least, it's a better marketing move.
yeah. It's definitely works out in that favor. It works out better off in that favor than the current model they got right now. Too many big fighting games are coming out. It'll be overshadowed. Um, Furthermore, it's like it's it just makes logical sense to delay it. That's what I would do. Just to save basically save the product from having it being overshadowed by other games, and furthermore for it to do content, like not content, but for it to basically say, oh well, we're coming out Q3 or Q4 2023, but there's other fighting games coming. How many people are going to play it? Not many to play Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
And I'm just going to be the one to say it. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super have lost so much momentum in the mainstream audience since the anime ended. Like, I know they were trying to set up for the movie and, and focus on other projects. One Piece, excuse me. But Dragon Ball has lost way too much momentum in the general audience as an IP to take a gamble like this.
And then
It's
on
just
Yeah,
top of that, they're taking way too long to bring back the anime.
okay. That's a separate licensing deal because one, you already got Dragon Ball Super Hero, the promotional anime still on syndication, and then you also have other factors such as the manga, current time, current deadline and time constraints with Toriyama's editor and Toritaro's mangaka. There are so many other factors why they can't bring the anime back right now. So many other factors behind the scenes.
But
yeah,
I'm gonna move on to the next topic. I'm pretty sure Taladia will like to, hop on this. All right, so we noticed in Dragon Ball Super, Broly is now training on Beerus's planet. When we
yeah.
saw that, there are wondering, is Goku and Vegeta actually teaching Broly to control his power, or are they trying to get him Gotki?
They're trying to control his power, basically, you know, lower his power from like going berserk. Like you know
Well,
how cauliflower had, when was it cauliflower or kale? I forgot to.
it
Kale, I
was
think it
Kale.
was.
Yeah,
Kale
yeah,
went
kale.
berserk.
Yeah, when kale went berserk, the legendary Super Saiyan was first revealed. So they probably look at that as an example and be like, well, we got to try and do what they did for Broly.
But a lot of people in, I guess, the mainstream Dragon Ball fan audience is basically saying that, I guess, since the setting, Goku, Vegeta, they started training on Beerus's planet, getting their key. Whis is teaching them mind, you know, calmness and, how to move differently, train differently. And
The
now
best way
Whis and
to
them are training Broly. Broly
I,
will automatically get God Key at some
I
point.
hate to cut you off. I hate to cut you off, bro, but The best way to describe what's happening right now, what Whis was trying to teach Goku and Vegeta was Zen and inner peace based on their personalities and their personal burdens. Broly, depending on whether you want to count him as the legendary Super Saiyan or not, is essentially a man child who doesn't have the mental fortitude to
Right.
properly balance himself. So control is going to be a much bigger priority in his training than pursuing the complexities of God, Key, and inner peace. Broly's not there yet because he's essentially a man child. That is a completely different tier and mentality that Broly will have to work towards. Now, what's going on in Dragon Ball Super manga right now is a retelling of the movie. That's another big factor why Super is hurting as a brand. You're retreading old content. Now, back in Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, I get it. One Piece Gold was in post production at the time. Toei was making a bigger priority with one of the big three, and you needed another 6 months. Personally, I wouldn't have risked that. I wouldn't have risked bad favor with those movies, especially. Okay, I'm not gonna say people don't need work because those animators fresh out of art school and getting what they need to get a job at Toei, they did the best of that situation. They did the best they could. But man, episode 5 is infamous for a reason. It just wasn't a good situation from a craft standpoint, from a craft and audience standpoint. So I would have delayed the super anime those remaining 6 months until One Piece Gold was already animated. I wouldn't have risked it, me personally.
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't have
either.
risked. I wouldn't have
Mhm.
risked it. But definitely they keep retreading old material. I mean, they're doing better at it in the manga by just skimming over it. Oh, we had this epic battle. Oh, we had
Right.
this epic battle, and they're getting better at. In the manga, Resurrection F not alluded to at all. Well, you might get the first few chapters. Frieza gets brought back to life, but that's it. So they're definitely getting better at supplement material. But I definitely say that retreading superhero was just too big of a blow. Yeah, I just wouldn't have done it. I would have either focused solely on Goku and Vegeta while the movie was taking place, even if it's just some training sequences, and just made a mini arc out of that. Now, do Goten and Trunks deserve some development? Yes. But at the end of the day, one prioritizes getting in the paint and, being a normal kid. The other grows out of being a brat. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I can understand that. But do you think Broly should get Gotki though? I mean, to my opinion, I feel like it'll help the Z fighters out tremendously. Like I feel like if Broly would have had Gotki, he probably would have stomped Cell Max.
Even then, I would say that's overkill. But I'll let Taladia answer this one because I've been doing a lot of talking. Taladia?
Uh, I think Broly might get God Key. He might, but I don't think he should
His
because of
power
his
level.
power level. Yeah, Super Saiyan, legendary Super Saiyan.
And because see, here's the thing, I feel like if he was to get Gotki, he'll find a way to, I guess, combine his
Surpass.
Gotki with his Hakari form.
Yeah.
And that right there is a planet buster.
Hmm. Yeah.
But like Jay, he said, that'll be more of an overkill.
So we'll have to wait and see for the next anime stroke movie, whatever that will be, for where Broly would be in power level.
But I found a video that'll probably, I guess, um,
We might have to mute the audio to get away with copyright.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
might. Yeah.
yeah.
You can screen share it. You'll just have to mute the audio and resort to caps.
oh, it's just somebody talking. It's not an actual like video. It's just like somebody, explaining kind of sort of. Come on. Thank you.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys another discussion for Dragon Ball Super. And I want to have a conversation with you guys that I think that could be something particularly interesting for the future of the Dragon Ball franchise. So I think we need to discuss whether or not Broly needs to learn God Ki. And the reason why I think we need to have this conversation now is that Goku and Vegeta, they've already reached a point now to where they're clearly masters of God Ki, and both of them are now in a situation where Vegeta's training under Beerus and he's learning God of Destruction type techniques. And you have Goku training with Whis and he's learning to actually use Ultra Instinct in his base. So they've moved past God Ki mastery and they're taking what they've learned before and they're pushing it to a different level. And so when you look at that, the power gap is going to continue to grow. Well, the reason why I think you need to bring Broly in is that God Ki is now not something to where it's like, oh my God, this is something that has to be exclusive to Goku and Vegeta. This is their calling card. Well, now they've got their own trump cards that they're further developing. And so I think that a character like Broly, who has all this huge potential and was essentially fighting very raw against Goku and Vegeta and doing very good against them in their God forms, I think that having that character after allowing him to train on his own on planet Vampa, after unlocking Super Saiyan, potentially unlocking other Super Saiyan transformations after the fact, because Broly, if you really look at how he fought during the Broly movie, yes, he was a bit raw, but the fact that Broly was able to essentially learn how to fight as he was fighting and fighting against somebody who is a very technically skilled fighter in Vegeta and fight against somebody who's a genius in Goku when it comes to martial arts. The fact that he was able to adapt and keep up with them, that shows you on a certain level, Broly himself is a fighting prodigy in of his own right. And so Broly's actually learned to master that power that's inside of him, allowing him the opportunity to learn God Ki, actually go through that training, and then learn how to tap into those higher levels of power where you're taking the God Ki and then you're transforming into a Super Saiyan on top of that. I think that that could be something to where obviously Broly's going to be absolutely broken, but at the same time, what you have to look at is that Goku and Vegeta have gotten a lot stronger since the events of Broly the movie. And I don't care what amount of training that Broly's done during that time. Goku's at the point where he's starting to master Ultra Instinct in his base. And so Goku, that's opening up a whole nother level of power because Goku's going to have access to his other transformations on top of having mastered Ultra Instinct. Vegeta is learning God of Destruction type of techniques. Broly's being left in the dust at this point. Now, I know this is a situation where people saying, well, Goku's the main character. He can't be surpassed by other people. That's happened in Dragon Ball. Goku's not always been the strongest person in the main cast. If you're somebody that has just watched the Z portion of the series, I can see why you're actually saying that. But if you go back to Dragon Ball, Goku, there were other people introduced into that main cast who became more powerful than Goku. And so I think this would be a nice little calling card to something like that. But also, this could be a situation where, let's say Broly gets all this power. Let's say he acquires God Ki. And then because of what Goku is learning to do, if you want to keep that character the strongest character in that main cast, that's still something right there. That's still something right there that's in Goku's back pocket because he still has that Master Ultra Instinct transformation that he can tap into. So I think that that is something safe right there. But given the events with the Granola arc and everything going on at this point, I think that that could be something to where if Granola gets revealed to be even stronger than Broly is, and Goku and Vegeta aren't able to take him down, they're not going to fuse. That's not something they're going to do because they don't like doing it. I think this could be something to where maybe you allow Broly to tap into that God Ki, and then you also, by extension, by doing that, you continue the whole desire for Goku and Vegeta to get stronger simply for the fact that that's introducing yet another rival for the two of them. That is something that kind of work right there. That's something I think could bring out a bit of a boost for the characters in the main cast. And I think that we're at a point now to where God Ki's been around in the fandom long enough that it doesn't have to be exclusive to Goku and Vegeta now. Now you can start giving God Ki to other characters. You just can't make it like Super Saiyan where every single Saiyan got God Ki.
Smooth sailing to the top now!
I think that you can get away with giving it to one more character, allow them to train to learn it, while somebody like Piccolo or one of the humans learning God Q be something that I think would be a better narrative situation, because it brings those characters up from obscurity to being somewhat relevant because of what the boost of God Key is. But I think that taking somebody like Broly and elevating Broly, that's something that works. And let's be real, from a marketing standpoint, imagine if you have a Super Saiyan God version of Broly that you're able to make merchandise for. That's going to sell like hotcakes. The same thing if you have a Super Saiyan Blue version of Broly. That's going to sell like fucking crazy. So that is something to kind of play with and kind of toy with from a marketing standpoint. That is something that works. Dragon Ball is a franchise first and foremost that has to make money. But narratively, I think that opens up the greatest door. Now, one other aspect going forward is that I think that by giving Broly this opportunity, it also allows the character Broly to be brought into the main cast. Now, whether or not he's going to stay there permanently, that's a different discussion, because if he's part of that main cast, at some point he has to actually leave, because we're in a situation where we're counting down to the end of Z, which is, in my opinion, yet another reason why we need to actually be in a situation where we go past the end of Z. That way there's more freedom with the actual writing, because right now you're kind of just hampered into, you have to keep the characters in line with where they ultimately end up by the time we get to Dragon Ball Chapter 520. But I think that this is something to where this kind of makes more sense for the character Broly, because there's only so many different ways it can go. So what if Broly gets Super Saiyan 2 or 3? Unless you do something to where Broly unlocks another form of Super Saiyan that continues beyond what you saw with Super Saiyan 3, and you see another version of 4, maybe you see Akira Toriyama's drawing a Super Saiyan 4 be something that Broly actually accesses. Unless Broly is going to be the representation of what a Saiyan's power could be if they naturally kept progressing. So basically, if Goku and Vegeta never trained under Whis and Goku continued to train and unlock another transformation, unless you have that be the route that goes, and you have basically a representation of the 3 different types of powers in Dragon Ball represented in the 3 strongest Saiyans. So you have Goku learning the power of the angels in Ultra Instinct. You have Vegeta learning the God of Destruction abilities from Beerus. And then you have Broly just be the representation of a mortal acquiring the peak power of their race. I think unless you do something like that, which that could work narratively, unless you do something like that, I think God Key is the most natural progression you can kind of take for the Broly character. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day.
And shout out to Kryptonian saying / Naruto Explained. A great video, great analysis,
Great.
and hopefully this doesn't get taken down.
Yep. Shout out to you. I'll leave the link in his channel once once I upload the thumbnail. But I mean, I feel like that video, I feel like he really broke that down. I mean, I can honestly say like I kind of am on board with the whole Goku Ultra Instinct, Vegeta Ultra Ego, and then Broly Super Saiyan 4.
Broly Super Saiyan 4.
Because you got to think, he already knows Hikari, which is already Great Ape in base form. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you think? Super Saiyan 4 is. They went Great Ape and then they transformed back.
It could be done, but you're taking, despite it being the saving grace of GT, arguably, it would be a stretch at this point in time. Unless you establish a precedent like Golden Great Ape, something like that, maybe give it to one of the, maybe give it to like Goten or Trunks, something like that. It's definitely something you could work towards, but if you're not going to go for Super Saiyan 4, giving Broly God Key would be a very close second. It's just, it depends on what Toritaro decides to do.
Facts.
Taladia?
Yeah, I'm just gonna agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Glad we're on the same page on that one.
Okay, so anybody else have anything else, about Super Saiyan God Broly?
No.
I think we're good.
Nope. All right, on to our next one. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about Shonen Jump's less talked about anime. Now, ma'am, okay, that I would have to say my top would have to be Inuyasha, Shaman King, Cowboy Bebop, Yu Yu Yakusho, and what's that other anime? Used to come on Toonami Jetstream all the time.
Not Samurai Jack. No.
I mean, a lot of people don't even talk about Samurai Jack, though, to be honest.
That's true. That's true.
But the number one that I looked up was Shaman King. Now, Netflix did a remake on this, and I would have to say that it's trash.
Hot
Like,
take. Hot
They
take.
literally took an original masterpiece. Now, I grew up on the actual show and manga of Shaman King, and a lot of people are not a little favorite of Shaman King, but you have to read the manga to understand.
I believe the original Berserk is in a similar situation. I highly recommend the original version and the manga. Do not watch the CGI remake that was made in 2010. It's god awful and it doesn't interpret the story in the best light. Stick to the original 1997 anime if you can find it. Please.
True.
Spare
Most
yourself cringe.
most early 90s, early 2000 animes, Shonen Jump, that used to come into little magazines that you used to get that had like a chapter of every manga. Yeah, stick to those. It does not get any better.
I agree, because I feel like they did have a bit of a dip going into the new millennium. Granted, they picked back up in like 2003 with the big three, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. But there definitely was a small downgrade in quality during those 3 years between 1999 and 2003. 2003, where the big three really hit their stride.
True.
And it showed. It showed with some of those titles.
But before we get into our last time, I think the other anime that I'm going to cover, I figured Taladia has more, because not a lot of people watch Shaman King, but I just wanted to, me personally, I want to see what the world's top 10 strongest shamans are, and they're going to be explained. Shout out to Watch Mojo. I'm going to leave the link to his channel down below. Let's see what they got to say.
Everybody, before we get into today's video, we have a quick message from our sponsor over at Figurama. And they want me to tell you that you can pre-order their awesome Yo and How statues on July 2nd at 11 p.m. And if you want any further updates on the pre-orders, you can join Figurama's wish list, where you will be immediately alerted once the pre-orders are available. I know how much you guys love Shaman King, and these statues tend to sell out fast. They're so popular, they're more than likely to sell out within the first hour they're available. So act now. These aren't your ordinary statues. They are part of the new Elite Fusion lineup, which means that when you purchase 2 statues, they have the ability to fuse, making a whole new experience. When you put Yo and How together, it'll be like you have a completely brand new statue. And with this special discount code, you can get 25% off of this amazing figure, with that code being RPSKEFS. And it's right on the screen for you. And if you want another discount, if you buy both How and Yo at the same time, you will get the benefits of the Asakura bundle discount. That's 2 birds with 1 stone. So act now. Click the link in the description and your satisfaction will be guaranteed.
Today, we're going to do something different. Today, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 strongest characters in the series of Shaman King. But please keep in mind, when I'm talking about the strongest, this is not with combat ability in mind. This list will be based on straight up stats. So more or less, these would be the characters with the most Foryoku. And to start off this list, we got my boy Lucius, the user of the Transformer Lamborghini Angel himself, sitting at a Foryoku level at 360,000. Believe it or not, but he's one of the only 2 humans that Hal actually likes. He used to be a member of X-Laws, and the day he was going to try to kill Hao, he realized how Hao completely outclassed him. And when Hao spared his life, he joined forces with him, realizing that Hao had his own sense of justice, and this allowed Lucius to develop his own new form of justice. And for the number 9 spot, we have Dai from Team Gandara with a Foryoku level of 500,500. Where did the extra 500 come from? I honestly couldn't tell you, because this guy doesn't really do much inside of the manga outside of flexing his Kami class spirit, which turns out is actually Jizo from Butsu Zone. And for our number 8 spot, we also have Yai Nage from Gandhara with a Foryoku level of 502,000. And in the manga, we see what he's capable of during the second round of the Shaman fight. And let's just say he gives Tao Ren a run for his money, as he casually nullifies everything Ren throws at him. And Ren is then reminded of how he was fucking yo. It felt as if he was air. You want to see how useless that is? Try hitting the air. Try punching the air right now. You see how useless that is? You can't do anything. And as for number 7, we have Kato from Gandhara, yet again. And he has a Foryoku level of 540,000. He is a Maharaja from India, and he covers all of Gandhara's expenses. But not only this, he is so strong that he was able to defeat one of the 4 kings of hell, Mephisto, who just so happens to be the same demon that Faust made a pact with. And for the number 6 spot, we have another member of Gandhara, Komeri, with a Foryoku level of 550,000. Despite not getting that much screen time in the original Shaman King, we actually see her in Shaman King 0 as Sati begins to tell her a story about her own past when she originally met Kato. And up next on the list for the number 5 spot, we have Jackson from Gandhara. And he also fought Tao Ren in the second round of the Shaman fight, just like Yai Nage, who was mentioned before. And Jackson is even stronger than him. Well, because, he plays higher on the list. But I digress, because the numbers do not lie. This man has a Foryoku level of 565,000. These numbers are getting kind of ridiculous. And you know what else is ridiculous? I know you guys are, sensing a pattern here. There are so many Gandhara reps on this list. But it's okay because, we got Best Girl coming up with the number 4 spot. Lady Johnson from Exodus! And she has a constantly rising Foryoku of 680,000. Everybody on this list is so disgustingly broken. We might not have these giant power level numbers like in Dragon Ball, when power levels get so ridiculous they're in the billions. But this right here, you see these numbers? These numbers are disgusting. And when it comes to how OD John is, I'm just going to let you guys wait till the anime comes out, or until you read the manga to see how out of pocket she can be. And the third strongest in the series is Sati from Gandhara. But not only this, she's also the leader of Gandhara. And her guardian ghost just so happens to be the main character from Butsu Zone. But anyway, Sati is so strong, she was able to send Yo to hell almost instantly. But not only this, she defeated King Yama all by herself. The leader of Gandhara is no joke. You want to know who else is no joke? Number 2 on this list, Opacho, and her Foryoku level of 800,000. There's not really much to say about her because all she really does in the series is follow Hal and somewhat serves as his right hand. I could say more about her character, but that would get into spoiler territory, so I'm going to leave that to you guys. Now for number 1 on this list, the strongest character in the entire series of Shaman King. It's kind of obvious, if you've seen Shaman King before, but if not, Asakura Hao, with a Foryoku level of 1,250,000. Well, if you guys want a basic synopsis on how broken Hao is, well, he slapped a satellite laser that was coming at him at light speed. Throughout the entire series, Hao never actually tries. even in his first life, Oni feared him, and they feared God spirits would listen to him. I could really go on all day about how broken Hao is, but I already got a video for that, so you guys could go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Oh, well, that was so unexpected. I really thought Yo was the strongest with his spirit.
Granted, this is pure spirit ability. This is not in terms of any real combat scenario.
Yeah.
Based on how he scaled it. And if you actually put these characters in a combative scenario, they might scale differently. But that's just in terms of current full ability or pure strength.
Right. But I don't understand how this is. People just don't pay attention to Shaman King like that. They're more like mainstream anime, honestly.
To be fair, a lot of the mainstream anime are those who kind of came up in the big three era of 2000 to 2003. So technically, Shaman King was before their time.
Yeah. I grew up when Shaman King was premiering on Toonami.
Yeah, but Shaman King wasn't doing Naruto or One Piece or Bleach numbers. Especially in the international audience.
Inuyasha did better than Shaman King.
Not by much. Not by much if you really want to go back.
And Inuyasha it's not even talked about like that.
Well, a lot of that is because Inuyasha was dragged out like we get it. You're pairing Inuyasha with Kagome. Just tie the knot already.
Right. Just put a ring on it and call it a day. But
yeah, the love story between Inuyasha and Kagome was really dragged out. That's what really hurt the brand of that series more than anything. The melodrama was just so dragged out.
But we're gonna move on to this next topic now. No offense to all of my American anime lovers, but y'all ruined a lot of anime, and that is going to Beyblade versus the original versus the remake. Now, I hate Beyblade Burst. I hate Metal Fusion was okay. The story was decent. Beyblade Burst Revolution, and Metal Mass. I'm just like, dude, where's the original? Like, I want Tyson. I want them back. They're just like how they ruined Bakugan.
Well, okay, Bakugan. That's a more complex situation. With Bakugan, it was just another generic battle card game, but it ran its course. The original syndication, the original structure of the show, like the original Bakugan was like 5, maybe 6 seasons. With the reboot, they just wanted to go in a new direction. So that's a more scaled down compared to Beyblade Beyblade was dragged out for all it's worth. Rebranded 3 times. And again, Beyblade is just not what it used to be compared to when we were growing up. Beyblade has completely fallen out of relevance.
Right.
Is it iconic? Yes. Does it have relevance in our childhoods and everyone in our age range? Definitely. But it wasn't hitting Yu-Gi-Oh numbers like that. It wasn't even hitting Yu-Gi-Oh GX numbers.
It wasn't even hitting 5D numbers.
Like Beyblade was not all that. Beyblade's biggest momentum, its biggest role was on CW4 Kids.
And that's the one we're talking about, is the original. And I love the story. And you ain't gonna lie, Tyson was a goofball. He thought he was the strongest blader, even though he didn't have no Bit Beast. But little did he know his grandpa had Dragoon.
You're right.
And then that's when he met the Beyblade group or whatever. I forgot their name. Wasn't it Kenny, the nerd?
You're probably confusing them with South Park characters, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think one of them was Kenny. I know one of them. I think one was like Keith. One was like, they were very, especially in the dub, they were very generic names. But I don't think Kenny was one of them. I have to go back and look it up.
But before things get a little too late, we are going to take a look at the top 10 Beyblade battles. And
hopefully we don't get copyright struck.
Nah, I'm not. These are all And of course, there's an ad.
Is going to war.
Get the money. The money.
Oh, come on. There we go.
It's time to let it rip.
Okay, let's give it a shot. Dragoon, attack!
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Beyblade battles. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking back over this glorious anime to count down which deadly game of spinning tops rocked our socks off back in the day. Please keep in mind, we'll only be looking at the original series and its subsequent sequels, which means we won't be covering newer entries like Metal or Burst. But if you want us to cover them in a future video, be sure to let us know in the comments below.
It's not like this is the end, right? This is only just the beginning.
It is?
Number 10, Kai vs. Brooklyn, Beyblade G Revolution.
This is such a complete waste of my time.
This says you're wrong. So watch and learn.
Big deal.
There's no other way of saying it, Kai got royally battered in this match. Despite his impressive skills, he was woefully unprepared to take on the force of Bega's ultimate blader, Brooklyn.
I need more energy.
With the strength of his bit beast, the laid-back pretty boy managed to push Kai to the very edge, severely wounding him in the process. However, in the mother of all comebacks, Kai bested his foe after declaring his adoration for the sport.
That's why I have to win this battle. Because Beyblading means more to me than you could ever understand. It's not just a game to me.
Honestly, Kai went through the ringer so badly in this one that we kinda thought he kicked the bucket by the end of it.
My days of blading are over.
Number 9, Tyson vs. Zeo, Beyblade V-Force.
Beat him! Crush him! Burning Cerberus! CO?
The final match of this sequel series had been built up to no end.
You were our friend, CO. I still don't understand why you left and turned against us.
Why had Zeo suddenly flipped out? Why was he trying to take down Tyson and the gang? And what the hell was up with his creepy scientist dad? Well, as we eventually found out, Zeo was a robot. You heard that right, a robot. One who was trying to take the power of the Bit Beasts in order to become human. Considering he was armed with an incredibly powerful Bit Beast of his own, it's a miracle that Tyson didn't end up getting the Terminator treatment.
Hey, we're buds, and just because you don't have a pulse doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Number 8, Ray vs. Brian, Beyblade.
Hi. Good luck, my friend.
In the closing chapter of the original series, it was up to the Blade Breakers to take down Boris's nasty squad, the Demolition Boys.
Lousy game, huh?
Ray!
With Kai losing the first round, the pressure was on Ray to keep the lads in the game. But it wouldn't be easy. Ray took an absolute beating from his opponent, who used underhanded tactics to directly hit him throughout the bout. Unlucky for Brian, when Ray has that look on his face, there's absolutely no way he's going to quit. Yes, the final battle between Tala and Tyson was metal in its own right, but it was following up from this display of raw emotion.
Tiger Claw! Attack!
Number 7, Tyson and Daichi vs. F Dynasty, Beyblade G Revolution.
3, 2, 1, let it rip!
A 2-on-2 match is always a great way to liven things up, though it's fair to say that Tyson and Daichi had their work cut out for them, since they were clashing with two siblings who, when united, turned into a powerhouse.
Oh no!
However, despite their Cirque du Soleil routine, F Dynasty couldn't stop our favorite Dragoon duo from pushing forward and achieving victory.
It looks like Tyson and Daiji have figured out that two Beyblades are better than one.
They may have put on quite the performance, but Julia and Roll just couldn't measure up to a good old bromance.
That's what real Beyblading is all about.
For sure!
Number 6, Tyson vs. Brooklyn, Beyblade G Revolution.
星野愛、僕が産ませる。安全に。
What's so funny anyway?
The final match of the original saga, and wouldn't you know it, it's the most insane one of the bunch.
Goodbye, Tyson!
After losing to Kai, Brooklyn's psyche is fractured beyond repair, causing him to lose control of his Bit Beast. Consequently, reality itself gets turned on its head, which forces Tyson to literally finish the match while flying.
Boy, someone's having a bad mood day, huh?
It's definitely out there and has a hefty moral serving about good sportsmanship being the be-all and end-all, but it's still a hell of a high note to go out on. Number 5, Tyson vs. Max, Beyblade G Revolution.
I know I'm gonna win this. I know I have what it takes. I won't let my team down.
Ah, Max, the nice guy, the lad. The one everyone can rely on and never does anything unexpected, at least until this match.
Fight your seal with everything you've got!
After the Blade Breakers break up so each can have a chance at becoming champion, Max goes head-to-head against his old comrade, and boy does he bring his A-game.
Engine gear! Full power!
Dispensing with the niceties, Max's unbeatable defense and improved Beyblading skills really did a number on Tyson, but once again failed to land a finishing blow. Now just imagine what would happen if he ever got angry.
By the way, I'm glad a friend of mine won. I hope I don't sound like I'm bragging, but I couldn't have done it without you.
Number 4, Tyson vs. Kane, Beyblade V-Force.
It's over! Tyson can't win this battle now! His body can't take the strain!
By far the highlight of the second series, the Blade Breakers found themselves fighting dark reflections of themselves when going up against Team Psychic, a group of individuals who came equipped with robotic versions of their Bit Beasts. As the final challenge, Tyson had to overcome Kane, whose sanity started to diminish after his Cyber Dragoon went full-on berserk.
You're very lucky, Tyson. You're about to see what happens when the strongest blader and the strongest Bit Beast come together.
It's a deadly confrontation that saw the end of the Cyber Bit Beasts and set stage for the future showdown with Zeo, one that almost cost Tyson his head.
This is how you order all this delivery food for cheap. Okay, so first, Domino's.
Number 3, Kai vs. Ray, Beyblade G Revolution.
No matter who gets in my way, I will be victorious.
You have to feel sorry for Ray. He's the only main character that's probably lost more than he's won, sometimes in the most ridiculous ways possible.
I know that Lee lost, but it doesn't matter. If we stick together, we'll never lose.
You're right, Ray. White Tiger X is a real team.
Yeah.
However, we can safely say that even though he once again failed to score a victory, he shone like a lightning bolt in this semi-final round. Seriously, it gets to the point where he almost goes Super Saiyan.
A White Tiger X! Trigger attack! No!
Alas, he's still no match for Kai's secret technique, one that managed to cleave a boulder in half. Somehow. Kudos for trying, Ray. At least you'll always be the resident ladies' man.
We are so totally proud of you, Ray.
Thanks, Mariah. Don't forget this.
Number 2, Kai vs. Blade Breakers, Beyblade.
Look down there.
Huh? Oh. It's Kai.
After turning his back on the team in exchange for the powers of Black Dranza, Kai fully embraced his role as a villain to the point where he was happy to try and steal his allies' bit beasts for himself.
Sip it and fight. I'll let my blade do the talking.
With a frozen lake serving as their battleground, Kai almost succeeded in his mission until he discovered that not even he can compare to the Blade Breakers' teamwork.
Who are we? Blade Breakers! Yay, Kai!
After getting his ass kicked and his worldview shattered, Kai ends up doing a total 180 and finally starts to embrace the team spirit. And that took him long enough.
Besides, dude, black was never really your color.
Number 1, Tyson versus Kai. Beyblade G Revolution.
I'm just warming up. Yeah, same here, Kai.
Boy, Brad, this is the ultimate blading battle of all time!
If you thought spinning tops weren't dangerous, just wait until you see this.
I've got to give you credit, Tyson. You're tougher than I thought. But every dog has its day, and it's time to put you back in the doghouse.
With the championships coming to a close, it's down to these two long-term rivals to take the prize. As it happens, the overwhelming power of Dragoon and Dranza essentially destroys the stadium, forcing Tyson and Kai to battle it out inside a pit with nothing more than their competitive spirits and some serious arm flailing to see them through to the end. As expected, Tyson once again manages to reclaim his title as the world champion, and let's just hope they didn't charge him the repair bill for the stadium.
Well, it's not what I wanted, but if I have to lose to anyone, I'd want it to be Tyson. Way to go, buddy. You deserve the win.
Do you agree with our pick?
Well, I will have to say my battle will have to be Kai versus Ray. I mean, to be honest, growing up, that was like the most iconic Beyblade battle I've ever seen, on top of probably Metal Fusion when Ryuga and Jenga.
That's a fair point, but after the main, it just Beyblade never really hit Yugi. Okay, it did better than Chaotix. Now, granted, a lot of people
it did better than Monsuno.
Monsuno didn't come out till the late 2000s.
I know, but guess what? It was like a newer kind of like American-made anime, kind of like how they tried to make Beyblade.
Didn't the American anime fad die out right by the end of that year?
Yes, Monsuno killed that.
But yeah, Monsuno was mid at best. But I'm not gonna say it was bad. But needless to say, none of these titles would have done good as the big three. Now, Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, those are late 90s anime series and manga. They're in a completely different bracket than the big three. I wouldn't even say Beyblade, even the original did Yu-Gi-Oh numbers.
Nope. But I can't say a lot of people didn't watch it, but it didn't do that good.
It didn't do that good. But
yeah, we're on. Oh, go ahead, bro.
I think this was a pretty solid discussion all around. I mean, some of us might have been able to relate to this more than others, but I think this was a pretty solid discussion. Taladia, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Very interesting discussion. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem. Y'all already know my name is Kid Takeoff.
J Heat Blaze.
All right, and we will see y'all next time. Peace.